he did poke the Republicans. He made some, the stuff he said about Social Security was over the top. There's nobody seriously talking about sunsetting Social Security in the Republican Party, but he did it with a smile. It was a jovial Joe Biden, and he provoked that behavior from the Republicans, clearly making Kevin McCarthy uncomfortable.
We do know that entitlements have been part of the discussion long term, though, about where the country can potentially save money. Democrats say that's a non-starter.
So I'm glad that the second person in that clip pointed out that, no, the Republicans are very much talking about this. The first voice was, of course, ABC News chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl, who was specifically wrong. Some Republicans have specifically talked about sunsetting it. He was also generally wrong in that focusing on that makes it seem as if the idea that Republicans want to make major changes outside of just sunsetting to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is a crazy thing to think about, which it's not. And in case you aren't familiar with what's been going around in Republican circles, here is an awesome montage Ashley put together, a reminder of their actual positions on entitlement reform.
Where should those budget cuts come from right now? Medicare and Social Security, the White House insists Republicans want to cut. What cuts do you want?
Well, let me be clear about that, and I've been clear many times. No, we're not talking about that. And to really be able to do this right, I'm not going to negotiate this in the press.
Entitlements are going to consume the budget. Medicare and Social Security and other entitlement programs are worth saving are going to consume the debt. So entitlement reform is a must for us to not become Greece.
Recently put out an 11-point plan to rescue America. Two of the big points of which are, quote, all Americans should pay some income tax. It also says all federal legislation sunsets in 5 years. So that would raise taxes on half of Americans and potentially sunset programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Why would you propose something like that in an election year?
Sure. Well, John, that's, of course, the Democrat talking points. It's a
No, it's in the plan. It's in the plan.
But here's let's think about reality for a second. First off, let's talk about Medicare.
But Senator, hang on. John. So it's not a Democratic talking point. It's in the plan.
I'm here right now to tell you one thing that you probably haven't ever heard from a politician. It will be my objective to phase out Social Security, to pull it up by the roots and get rid of it.
If it was Matt Gaetz, I think that we do need reforms to Social Security and Medicare. I understand politically enough people.
But that can come later. That's
not going to happen now.
Right.
Medicaid.
And you don't need to have it.
By the way, Medicaid should not be a sacred cow.
Big time.
Yeah, there's meat on the bones, he said earlier, and he's not the only ones. I mean, you had great stuff of Rick Scott. It's in the, you could look at it. He wants to make it something that has to be voted on every few years, which is not something you do to something you consider to be sacred, that cannot be challenged. And jumping ahead, Mike Pence just last week said they should privatize Social Security. And of course, Matt Gaetz has been attacking these programs as well. And by the way, I understand that the mainstream media is going to be focusing on Social Security and Medicare, and many people are obviously on that, and they're very important programs, but they also routinely talk about cutting Medicaid, and that's the one that we're supposed to not pay any attention to because those people are poor. Screw them. We don't actually care about what happens to them. But anyway, the idea that people like Jonathan Karl would be running cover for the Republicans going into a negotiation where Kevin McCarthy is saying, no, I am not going to agree that we won't be talking about those. That's not how we're going to negotiate. It is super clear what they actually want, Ben. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, this is just like the obvious Republican tactic. They do this all the time where they say, I mean, literally, like you have Mitch McConnell putting out like campaign information talking about like, oh yeah, we got to protect Social Security and Medicare. And they're like, we have to protect it by gutting all of the benefits, right? So that like it lasts longer. We're running out of Social Security, so we gotta cut the benefits to make it last longer. And like they invent all these mental gymnastics, and like they'll do all these ridiculous things to say that they're not really trying to cut Social Security when that's exactly what they're doing. And that's why like we'll sunset every federal legislation. We're not specifically going after Medicare, right? Mm-hmm. And like fundamentally, because they know that they're unpopular. Like, look, like let's be real, right? The Republican Party is a party of like just unbelievably wealthy capitalists who want to rob the American people blind and have found the biggest dupes in the United States. And those are racists, transphobes, and homophobes. Easiest people to trick into literally anything. You tell somebody you tell them that something is Satan or that it's gay, and they are like, you're right, I'm against it, right? And so they're just the easiest people to fool in like the history of the planet Earth. And so that's what the Republican Party does, right? They, and so whenever anybody brings up hey, this is what they're actually doing, they have to just very overtly lie and hope that the evil, gay, satanic Democrats are so scary enough that when they tell you the truth, that you won't believe them.
Yeah, 100%. Even when they say it flat out, Mike Lee telling a group of people, the average age of which is 79, I'm gonna kill Social Security. That thing that you rely on, I'm gonna kill it. And they're like, yay, I think this is good. That's mine though. I like food and being able to buy it, I guess. Anyway, they've been well trained as a people.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.